Hey, what's up everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so the Los Angeles Lakers just got thrashed, absolutely plummeted by the Phoenix Suns. No CP3, no Cam Johnson, no problem whatsoever. 48 minutes of garbage time. That's basically what you saw there, ladies and gentlemen. 48 minutes of pure and utter garbage time. The Los Angeles Lakers did not play a center, and if you watched my pregame video, then you understood why that was just a recipe for failure for the Lakers from the jump. See, it's just like this, man. My analogy for this team is, it's like, watching this team's effort is like seeing players drinking water out of a ladle. You know what I mean? You're trying your best, but there's holes through it, and you're just not going to get any water because you can't ever even give yourself an opportunity. That's what it's like watching the Lakers play defense, because they'll have effort. The effort isn't necessarily the problem. It's the fact that they don't have a center on the floor, and because of it, you just remove so much from what is required for you to be able to defend. So you just, by default, are a terrible defensive team. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. So you can, it's like, it's just physics. If people are smaller, it doesn't matter what it is they're going to be, trying to do against a bigger person. A bigger person is going to have the advantage in most of these situations where, the object of the game is to reach the highest point. If the game is based on those type of things, you need bigger people to help you have the advantage. I mean, it's just not deeper than that, man. It's not deeper than that. And so when I hear people say, oh, the Lakers defense is bad, yeah, but it's not because guys can't play defense necessarily. It's just because they're missing a whole aspect of the game that is needed in order to succeed. And that's just all there is to it. It's like they're playing without without what they need. So that's all there is to it. The Los Angeles Lakers got plummeted by a team that came out there with a lot of size, a lot of effort, a lot of determination, a lot of focus, and they're on a mission. This is a team, in my opinion, that looked straight past us. The good way, though. When you usually say something like that, you think of it as a team not showing up for the team that they're coming up against, but that is not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying to you is, they were so locked in on what their goal is as it pertains to being the best team they can be to get to a championship and get back to the finals, that I felt like they played us as if we were somebody else, as if we were a team that was much better than we were. Now, granted, LeBron James is coming off that big game. They knew who he is, they know who he is, and they came with that type of energy as it pertains to going up against a LeBron James-led team. You see clearly that they were ready for him. But, we are not that team. The level of focus they provided us was as if we were the Miami Heat or the Golden State Warriors or, the Memphis Grizzlies. They played us like we were them. And they came out in that first quarter, and they were so crisp and so ready to go that I honestly think they could have beat anybody tonight. Judging by how they played just the first quarter. 48 points that they scored in that first quarter. I don't think they made a single mistake. I didn't see one. It was just like watching poetry in motion. I haven't seen a team play basketball that well since watching the old Greg Popovich San Antonio days. Like, that was the last time I personally seen a team look as good as the Phoenix Suns did in that first quarter. Every single play they ran looked good. The way they were spacing, the way they were creating for one another, the way they were synchronized in rhythm, in motion, the ball was popping all over the place, getting out in transition repeatedly. It was absolute poetry in motion. So regardless of how great the Lakers would have played or how poorly the Lakers played, we were an afterthought. We might as well not even been out there. They were running their stuff, and whoever the opponent was just going to have to deal with the fact that they were mastering their plays, and that's what I took from them. And with that being said, Phoenix may win the championship, because as good as they looked out there without Chris Paul, without Cam Johnson, it don't even matter. Like looking at the way their team is constructed, and they've added so much size with JaVale and Bismack and Ayton playing this way. to like last year, the issue that was is they didn't have enough size to go up against Giannis and Milwaukee. If they go up against Milwaukee this year, this ain't gonna be that. That's not gonna be the case. They got plenty of size. They got plenty of big players that they can throw at that team. And their guards play so well. You know, Cam Payne did his job out there. He was excellent. Mikal Bridges, as always, put a foot in us. Torrey Craig's presence was felt out there. Ayton had a massive game, put up big numbers. Booker was just, the type of stuff he was doing out there in that first half, the way that he was letting that ball fly, just precision. He was a surgeon out there tonight. Really, really, really carving the Lakers up. Poetry in motion, basically. That's Devin Booker at his best. That's what I saw out there. And he and DeAndre Ayton look like they're gonna match up pretty well with whoever they face. Hey, look, I'm looking at something right now. I know a lot of people are thinking about the fact that Philadelphia now has James Harden. They call themselves Shaq and Kobe out there, and Joel Embiid he makes it so that they have a heck of a matchup with most teams. But not too many people are talking about how well Phoenix would match up with them if they found each other in the NBA final. I'm not saying Philly is going to get through the East, because I don't know that they're going to do that. But given the fact that Joel has such a size advantage against everybody, you can totally see this maybe being their year. If they come out running to Phoenix, they're going to have trouble. That's basically what I'm here to tell you. The way they match up in theory against the Phoenix Suns, Phoenix matches up very well with them. And the way Devin Booker was playing tonight, CP3 will be back. That would be a matchup that I would love to see. I would love to see that. Because that Phoenix Suns team tonight, I'm telling you, not to say that the Lakers put up any fight, because they did not, but they looked like they was ready to win something tonight. And we just happened to be in the way, basically. That's how I felt. And they didn't play down to our level, which is a sign of something very good. When you talk about a team that doesn't play down to the level of his opponent. Even in years when we won a championship, the Lakers tend to do that. Phoenix didn't do that tonight with us, man. They treated us like a real threat, and they destroyed us and took advantage of our size disadvantage, It just destroyed us on the boards. We turned the ball over ridiculously at 19 turnovers tonight. And it wasn't a whole lot to like. Once a team jumps out to a 48-point quarter, you're demoralized after that. Then it just becomes whether or not you have enough fight to keep it close. And, at moments at a time, we looked like we were doing okay. But, the majority of the time, they just wouldn't let up. They kept their foot on us, and they would not let up. If you look at the plus minuses of this game, it's something that you don't see too often. Like most of the starters from the Phoenix Suns were like plus 30 something. And you look at a guy like Austin Reeves, who turned the ball over one time and had like a minus 30 something. I think it was really scurred because Austin Reeves was usually in lineups where there was no center, there was no opportunity for him to really succeed. So he wasn't the problem, but since he was on the floor with a bunch of bad lineups, he gets a bad plus minus, and that's why I think that's a scurred statistic, because that can happen to you. Like, if you don't contribute directly to success, you not doing anything wrong can still mean that you're on the floor for that negative amount of production. So that's something that I took a look at tonight. Just yet another example of how that can be scurred. Just simply because a coach didn't put the center on the floor while you were on the floor. Now your plus minus is screwed up because there's missing elements of basketball with you on the floor down there to make up for the slack. And it's just, that's what it was, Dwight was out there a little bit, but it didn't matter. Just like I told you in the pregame show, with the type of centers they have, we would need more than Dwight to give ourselves a chance out there. And so a lot of the time we didn't have it. Stanley Johnson was playing. I felt like he was a little frustrated down the stretch of the game. I like the leadership that I saw from Malik Monk, trying to hold him back, trying to keep him, from diving at the referee a little too demonstratively on a foul call that really didn't matter at that point. We were down by 30 something. But you like the fact that guys care. You know what I mean? You like the fact that the young guys are sticking up for each other and with each other, trying to manage and weather the storm. I like those qualities that I saw from them down there. Um, in the midst of what we saw down there, which was LeBron James really didn't have it like that, even though he was getting his shots up, the three ball was falling. I think that knee was really messing with him tonight. That's what I gathered. That he was feeling his body tonight. He wasn't exactly his spry normal self, and kind of relied on the 3-point shot a little more than I would have liked to see him do. But given the score and the circumstances, I kind of didn't mind it, because I had to ask myself, what gives us the best opportunity to score when everybody's struggling and we're really doing this bad? And it probably is the best high percentage shot is probably something that LeBron James shoots. Now, for me, I would much rather him be driving, but if I'm to assume the knee is not doing so well, then you can see why he didn't. So if anything, I just thank him for playing, truthfully, and I would suggest he doesn't play tomorrow because, he's going to be banging up against Scotty Barnes, and that's bad. And see, that's the thing. The Toronto Raptors, they attack you differently, and we haven't seen this team yet, but we're going to find this out tomorrow. They have all kinds of forwards that just keep coming at you that play both sides of the floor. So that's a different type of beast that I just don't even think LeBron James should be trying to go up against, because the majority of those players are his size, and they're going to be attacking him. So it's like, nah, just don't play that game, bro. But anyway, as far as this game is concerned, just burn the tape, you guys. Just burn it. There wasn't a whole lot to take from it because the opponent was so on point and they're so advanced. You know what I mean? You're going up against the probable Western Conference champion and a team that just went to the finals last year. And even though they didn't have Chris Paul, as I said, Cam Payne is a starting point guard in this league. And anytime he gets an opportunity to start, it's not like they're gonna fall off in production. So you add in Aaron Holiday, who's also a guy who they just got. Ascending in value, who can play both sides of the floor, and it's just a nightmare, man. They just continue to come at you. You know what I mean? Phoenix Suns seems a serious monster. JaVale McGee was active tonight, as you would imagine he would be against his old team that he won a championship with. And if anything, I can just honestly say you can see what a good team looks like. You can tell how far we are away from that level when you go up against a team that's on it, and they do to you what teams like that do. That's what happened tonight. This team is going to put themselves in a position to win a lot in the playoffs, and it's just very obvious that we're not there. We're not on the level of these teams, and which is why I want us to redirect our thinking, especially since LeBron James is not healthy. AD is obviously trying to rush himself back. I think that part is obvious. And it's just not enough. Even if they come back and do the best they can, the other aspects of our team is just not going to be able to do the job. So we need to be real about that and shut those guys down, let them heal through the off season, and work the plan. We obviously don't have our picks. We understand that. We don't expect that we're going to be that great next year either. We know that, but we can get better, and that's the type of goal from which we need to work. And if you don't like those odds, then you need to blow it up and get the type of stuff that you can get for the type of players that you have on this roster right now. Those are your options, Lakers. I woke up this morning thinking about how bad things could be if LeBron James were to leave and we don't get nothing in return for him. And I just don't think we can let that happen. We're at his mercy. I understand. We understand he wants to be here in LA, but don't underestimate how bad this season has been and how tumultuous his tenure as a Laker has ultimately been. Even the year he won a championship, it was like sadness all around and stuff. This has been not the dream, for Bron. And I just wonder if he's, after all of this, is looking to elsewhere, maybe move on. And it seems like he is, and it would be wise, in my opinion, to jump out ahead of that. Now, maybe too late for that, depending on how things shake out. But at the end of the day, games like this where he was actually active, and we're still setting career lows, giving up, the most points we've ever given up in the shot clock ever era in a quarter or in a half, and you look up at the score, it's 140 points. I mean, I'm cool, as a fan. This is yet another one of those games where you look and say, man, I have had enough of this era. I'm not even looking at AD and saying if AD was healthy, this thing would be such and such and such and such. Because the reality is, the fact that we're asking AD to fix this isn't in and of itself part of the problem. AD shouldn't have to come back and fix nothing like this, because this shouldn't even be in place. So we just need to blow this thing up, be real about what it is we've built, which is a failure, and rebuild, because that's what you do when what you build doesn't work. You tear it down and you rebuild. So the Lakers need to just, bite the bullet on that, let go of the ego, let go of the prospects of all that money that comes with LeBron James, because at the end of the day, if you ain't winning, it don't matter. You could be sitting on a bunch of money and have none of the respect. And I know Jeannie, she already got money. I mean, I don't know her, but I know what motivates her as it pertains to this team. It ain't just money. It's about winning. It's about keeping up that prestige and that name. And as it pertains to this franchise, keeping the respect of this nation. So I don't suspect that we're going to see much of this much longer. Even if guys were considering, well, what things may look like and how whatever, when you have a game like this, while you're sitting there mulling over the decision to move forward, it doesn't make you feel good about that decision. So that's what my opinion is, man. I just don't think this game helped. Whatever people were thinking 2 weeks ago, they're probably rethinking those things right now. So that's what I got to say, man. Phoenix Suns beat the heck out of us, and rightfully so, man. Game ball goes to Devin Booker for just putting on his best Kobe Bryant impression as far as I'm concerned. You look fantastic out there. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.